Good morning, everybody. Great to see you. Good morning in the upper room. Can we hear you? We can't hear them. Okay. We'll get you live, guys. Don't worry about a thing. Anyways, good morning. My name's Nathan. It's my privilege today to kick off a brand new 6-week message series that I've been super excited about doing. I've been thinking about a message series like the one that we're starting today for quite some time. We're going to be on the theme of relationships over the next 6 weeks. And one of the things I really wanted to do with this series is to make it extremely practical, to put handles on things so that through the course of the 6 weeks, all of us can grow in our ability to be in relationship, both with God, but also with other people. And I actually believe with all my heart that those who follow Jesus, who claim Christ as their own and who are trusting in him, we should be better at relationships than people who don't, who haven't received that love and grace. And so super excited to dive into this message series with you. The title or the theme of the series is That Ship Has Sailed. How many of you here have heard that expression before? Okay, a bunch of hands going up. You've heard the expression, that ship has sailed. It means that you've missed your opportunity. It means it's too late. It's over. If you were coming to North America from another continent, let's say 100 years ago, you couldn't fly here. You would have gone down to the harbor and boarded a ship, a large vessel that would have taken you across the Atlantic Ocean to get here. And if you got to the harbor and your boat is leaving the harbor, you would say that ship has sailed, like you missed it. You are not getting on that boat. Sometimes in a more modern version, we say the train has already left the... Okay, yes, you've heard these before. So this is the idea like you're too late. You've missed your opportunity. So you might be wondering, why in the world would you name a relationship that series, That Ship Has Sailed? I believe that all of us, through the course of our lives, have experienced broken, strained, and dysfunctional relationships. True? And the reality is that all of us will continue to face broken, dysfunctional relationships in our lives because nobody's perfect and we all have our issues and we're trying to work through with our family, with our friends, with our coworkers. And so being able to walk into messy relationships and to be someone who brings healing and hope is actually something that I want us to talk a lot about. My hope is that while it would be easy for us to see a dysfunctional relationship in our life, to just say that ship has sailed and to write it off, I actually believe that God wants us to be the kind of people that walk in with healing and hope and make a difference in our relationships. So while I can't promise you that after 6 weeks, all of your relationships will be perfect, I can't make that claim. I do believe that we're going to learn some things together from God's word, and that as we work on our relationship with God and learn more about ourselves and others, we can actually be better equipped to do relationship well. So that's my hope. You may not know this, especially if you're new to the Bible, but the Bible itself is a story of redemption. It's a story of God healing our broken relationship with him. Now, it's interesting. I meet people sometimes and they're brand new to faith and they'll say, well, I got a Bible, I got my hands on a Bible and I opened it up and I found some weird stuff in there. That's true. Anybody? Some of you are like, I've done that. Okay. So you begin reading and there's these ancient stories and then there's the giving of the law to the nation of Israel. And then you have the prophetic text where like there's warning of judgment that's impending. And then there's like songs and proverbs and personal letters in the New Testament. And then the book of Revelation. Let's not even talk about that. Okay. There's all kinds of stuff in there and you go, what is this book all about? And the answer is, it is a story of redemption from cover to cover. When you open up the Bible, what you discover is God has created the first man and woman, Adam and Eve, and they are in this beautiful relationship. They're walking and talking with God. And what happens is because of their sin and pride and disobedience, the relationship with God and humankind becomes broken, damaged, and severed. And of course, our relationship when it's broken with God does not just affect us and God, it actually affects us and the people around us. And so Adam and Eve's relationship also becomes broken and dysfunctional. Adam goes, not my fault, it's the woman you gave me. And Eve goes, it's not my fault, it's the serpent. And then they have 2 kids, Cain and Abel, first 2 siblings. That doesn't go well, right? If you know the story, Cain kills his brother Abel. And if you continue to read the opening chapters of Genesis, the whole world just descends into utter chaos. And if I were God, I would look at the situation and be like, that ship has sailed. I'm done with you guys. But here's the beautiful thing about God. And this is the beautiful thing about the story that is contained in this book. God does not say that ship has sailed. God walks towards the mess. He begins to work a plan of redemption to restore relationship of humankind back with their creator. And what he actually does is he calls a man named Noah to set aside his family. They build an ark. And God is going to wipe the slate clean, but he's going to carry a promise and a hope forward through Noah and his family. And that ship literally did sail. And anyways, they repopulate the earth, and God makes a plan to bring through the nation of Israel his own son. And Jesus is born into this world, lives the perfect life that we could not live without sin, and goes to the cross and pays the penalty that we deserve to pay. And because of what Christ did through his death and resurrection, we have the opportunity to be restored back into relationship with God. That's beautiful. That's the gospel. That's what we were just celebrating as we shared in communion, that we can be restored back to God through what Christ has done. But guess what? He doesn't want us just to be restored back into relationship with him. He wants us to also be the kind of people that go out and restore relationships around us, okay? Let me show it to you. Paul writes this in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, 17 and 18. He says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he or she is a new creation, a new person from the inside out. The old has passed away, behold, the new has come. When Jesus came into this world, he didn't come into the world just to blow wind in your sails, help you get a few percent better. He came to transform our hearts and minds. He came to make us something new, to translate us from this world of darkness into his kingdom of light. He came to make us sons and daughters of God, to restore that which was broken. But notice what it says next. All this is from God, who, through Christ, reconciled, restored our relationship to himself, and gave us, notice this, the ministry of reconciliation. So Jesus actually wanted to restore our relationship with God, with the Father, but also that we would be the kind of people that bring hope and restoration to the relationships around us. And I'm warning you, it's hard work. I'm warning you, if you have relationships that are broken and dysfunctional in your life, and you're going to be the person that steps first in towards the mess, that opens up their mouth to say, I'm sorry, that steps in to go, I will love you in spite of how you treated me. When you start moving in that direction, it's difficult. But God did it first. And that's the beautiful thing about the gospel. He came and stepped towards the mess to save us. So we are in a relationship series. I'm going to lay out what we're going to be talking about. This is basically the summary for the next 6 weeks. Today we're going to talk about our relationship with one another and how we communicate. Okay, that's foundational to being in a relationship. Next week we're going to talk about friendship. What is a true friend, and how can we be a friend that brings healing and restoration? We're going to talk about marriage. I know not everyone's married, but the principles will apply to everyone. So we're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about parenting. Week 5, we're going to talk about setting boundaries in our lives. Is so important. If you want to have healthy relationships, you need to learn how to set boundaries. And finally, everyone's favorite subject, resolving conflict. And my hope is that each week we can make the message and the content as dynamic and as sticky as possible. So even today, we're going to talk about different personality types, different temperaments, and how that affects our communication. And at the end of the service, we're going to have somebody who knows more about it than me come up and interview a panel so we can all learn and hopefully take what we're learning back into our lives to do relationship better. Does that make sense? Sound good? Okay, so let me introduce a few things. First of all, some of you might be seeing this list and being like, oh man, I need to get my husband here. That wayward kid that won't come to church, man, they need to come because they just need, you ever met somebody who's terrible at relationships? Couple hands going up. Hope it's not the person beside you. And you're thinking of somebody right now, you're like, oh, somebody needs to hear that. My parent, my brother, my whatever. But the truth is that I think that's the wrong posture. I think one of the things I've discovered is after being married for 26 years, I realized I can't control or change my wife. Took a while, but it finally dawned on me. I have no control. We have 4 kids. We raised 4 kids. A few of them are adults. And I'll tell you this, I have no control over them. I've been an employer to many, many different people in different contexts, and you can't control people. The only thing I truly have control over, and the only thing you have control over is, guess what? Yourself, your attitude, your thoughts, your actions, the things that you believe. And so what I want to encourage you to do is, if you get better at relationships, I assure you, the people that are in relationship with you will reap the benefits, okay? So it's not for somebody else. This is going to be for you and for me. Let me give you a quick thing. Relationship can be defined in this way: the connection or association between 2 or more people, groups, or things. So if you're in a relationship with somebody, there has to be something connecting you. Maybe you're born into the same family. Maybe you work together. Maybe you got married. Maybe it's your parent or whatever. But there is a connection between the 2 people. And what I've noticed is that at the heart of every relationship or connection is this word communication. Everybody say communication. Yeah, communication is super important. So communication is how we interact with other people and get things done. And so when we communicate, there's two things that are happening. There's information sent, information received. And sometimes I have tried to communicate information to my family, and what they receive is not what I was communicating, okay? And when there's a breakdown between what is said and what is heard, we'll throw that up. When there's a breakdown between, we call that miscommunication, okay? It means communication is not happening as it was intended to happen. Now, there's a reason why in our relationships there are communication breakdowns. And one of the reasons is because we all are made differently. And we're going to learn more about that today. We all have a unique wiring. So we have a filter through which we listen, a filter through which we see, a filter through which we act. And my filter and your filter are not the same. And when you have a whole bunch of people trying to do stuff together and they have different filters and they're viewing the world differently, it creates all kinds of issues. I have boats on the wall. Everybody see the boats? I drew them myself. And okay, here's an artist rendering. That's a little nicer, okay? So we've got these 4 different boats, and these boats represent different temperaments. And here's a fun little way to think about it. If you were on one of these boats and someone said, "It's time." Can we all say it together in both rooms? 1, 2, 3.
It's time.
You hear the call, "It's time," and you're on that yellow cruise ship. What does that mean? The buffet has started. The disco is bopping on floor 5, right? Like, it means this, you know, if you're on a cruise ship and like, "It's time," like, yeah, it's party time, right? And so that's what that temperament will be thinking. And then over here, let's go with the red one, okay? The red is a research vessel. I have a red sticker on today and a red shirt, I just really want to make it obvious, okay? This is me. I'm the researcher, I'm the investigator. And so when the research vessel hears the words, "It's time," what are they doing? Time to explore, time to experiment, time to gather information, intel, you know, new boundaries, all that kind of stuff. So that's what's happening on this. Now you got the green sailboat, and someone says, "It's time." What's it time for? There's a wind, let out the sails. We're gonna cruise around the bay with our friends and enjoy time together. Everyone who has a green sticker on is like, "Yeah, that's me," okay? And then we got the blue tugboat. And the blue tugboat is all about action. It's all about helping people, getting things done, getting organized. And so when you hear "It's time," everyone hears the same words, but the feelings associated and the actions that happen are different. And that's what's so incredible. I learned this when I was first married. You can take that image down for me, thank you. When I was first married, I learned this. Like, I knew when I got married that my wife and I were not the same, of course. It's like, "You complete me," you know? Opposites attract. Like, we knew all that stuff, right? Like, so we knew that we had different strengths and weaknesses, but it wasn't until about a week into our marriage, we decided to drive into town to buy hot chocolate. I call this the hot chocolate debacle of 1999, okay? And so we about 25-minute drive to the grocery store. We get in the car and we drive together to buy hot chocolate. And so we get in the grocery store, and my wife and I find the hot chocolate aisle, and we're looking at it. And me being the analytic task person, I'm looking and I begin doing a cost analysis, right? Price per gram. I'm considering things like, do we want the value pack? There's only 2 of us. It'll take years. It'll go stale. So maybe we get something smaller. Do we get individual packs? I'm kind of sorting all the options and I'm building a strategy, but I think I'm going to prefer this beautiful wife of my youth and say, "Honey, what do you want?" She looks at the options and she goes, "I don't like any of these. Let's go home." And she turns and walks out of the aisle, just leaves me there. I'm just standing in the hot chocolate aisle with a can of hot chocolate. And everything in me wanted to launch it over the aisle. I was so mad. I couldn't understand. What I didn't realize was that my wife is a green sailboat. So for her, the whole idea of driving 25 minutes there and back was time together with her husband. Didn't matter if we got hot chocolate or not. That was just the excuse to be together. For me, I was on a mission. And I'm thinking to myself, if we go home without hot chocolate, we've wasted $7.85 in gas, add in $2 wear and tear on my tires, I gotta get the oil changed. Like, I'm calculating, I'm like, that's the most expensive waste of time. Because we're looking at the very same situation through completely opposite lens. And that incident, the hot chocolate debacle, actually started a journey for me and for my wife Jessica into understanding there's all kinds of tools for understanding personality and temperament and all these things. The first one we learned about was the DISC profile. It's based on the 4 classic temperaments. You get a letter assigned. Then we started to learn about Myers-Briggs, 16 personalities, the Enneagram, 9 different with wings, love languages, Big 5, working genius, on it goes. And we've explored all these different tools, and they're all imperfect, but they're all helpful to understand. And so now when someone says something sharp to me, I go, wait, what's their temperament? I'm like, oh, they're just trying to be clear, right? And sometimes you'll be talking to somebody and they don't say anything, and you're like, oh, they're good, but they are not good. You know what I'm talking about? They're like, oh, they didn't say anything. They must be fine. Oh, they're not fine. And if you understand how people are intrinsically wired, and the more we can understand ourselves and others, the better we can be at doing relationship. Now, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, Nathan, that sounds complicated. Like it really does. Like if I'm trying to communicate clearly and my family and my friends don't understand, that sounds like a them problem. Can we be honest? And I think that's fair. But in reality, Paul the Apostle would disagree with that statement. He actually puts the onus on us to understand others. It starts in Ephesians 4:29. Paul says this, let no unwholesome talk come out of your mouth. My mom used to quote this at me and my brothers when we were teenagers. Whenever one of us would say a 4-letter word or there'd be some potty talk at the table, she'd be like, stick out that tongue. And she'd grab a bar of soap and she'd cleanse us, you know. Ivory wasn't too bad, but Zest was like, no, not Zest. Anyway, I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore. But when I got older, I came to realize that this is not talking about swearing. This passage, I'm not encouraging you to swear, by the way. I'm just saying this passage is actually about don't let any unhelpful words come out of your mouth that are going to harm others. And he goes on to say this. Here's how you can know. Look what it says. But only what is helpful for building others up. That we are responsible for the words that we speak, for how we communicate. Not just what we intended to communicate, but we're actually responsible for what people hear on the other side. And he says that we are helpful building others up according to whose need? That was so weak. You guys are missing the point. So that we could, according to whose need? Their need. So the whole idea is that we have to learn to communicate in a way that our family, friends, coworkers can understand and truly be helped by what we're communicating, that it would benefit those who listen. So I like to say it this way. If we do not understand others, we will not be able to love, lead, or listen well. So the onus is on us to learn. And today we're gonna show you the practical tools. We got 4 colors. Did everyone see the board on the way in? Yeah. So hopefully you were able to kind of look and maybe you put I put a red sticker on here. But in just a moment, I'm gonna have Tracy Ann Van Brink, who is well-versed in all of this, to come up, and she's going to interview some people in colored t-shirts so we can begin to see how this plays out. We've been to understand each other better. But let me first introduce the model. So we'll put up the squares. Yeah, no one person is one thing. Here's the 4 squares. And I'm saying this in a very oversimplified way, but the top 2 are generally oriented more in their actions towards people. They're often thinking about people first. And the bottom 2, the blue and the red, would be more divided into like task-oriented, like get to the stuff, action-oriented. And so that's one way that we're subdividing people. And then the other way, the vertical axes, so we have the left and right. And on the right side, the yellow and the red are more prone to communicate in ideas, where the left side are more prone to communicating things, facts, things that are more concrete. So again, there's a million ways you could identify people with colors and labels and all that stuff. And the goal is never to label someone and put them in a box, okay? You are not in a box. Some people, you'll have 2 stickers, 3 stickers, it's all. This is simply a tool to help us understand ourselves and others better. And I think in just a moment as we go through it, you're going to begin to see how this tool might be helpful for you. As I was looking at these, I was thinking about some different Bible characters. And I was thinking about how Peter, the Apostle Peter, was so action-oriented. And he would just act before he would think. He was definitely on this lower half, okay? He was action-oriented. Where John, the disciple that Jesus loved, was way more relational, probably a green or a yellow. And then you've got Mary and Martha, that old story, right? Martha's like in the kitchen going, why is nobody helping me? And Mary's sitting at Jesus' feet, just enjoying time. And so you can see Jesus even recognized that they were coming with a different frame. I think of Paul the Apostle. He was definitely a red like me. He's sitting there in his cell writing the book of Romans and extrapolating these incredible ideas to share them with the world. And then you have Barnabas, his partner, in crime who was so relational, was likely a green, and just cared for others and showed up. And so we see this as we open the Bible. We see it as we explore relationships in our lives. And so what I want to do is I'm going to invite Tracy Ann Van Brink to come on up the stage, give her a round of applause. And I'll set up the chairs as you... Great,
thank you very much. Oh.
Turn that on for you. There you go.
Hello. That was a nice welcome. While this is being set up, there are 4 people coming up, and I wanted to just say a few words to dovetail with Pastor Nate and what he said. To be ministers of reconciliation, that's a big title. But I believe it's rooted in Jesus' summary of the greatest commandment, that we love God with our whole heart, soul, and mind, and our neighbors as ourselves in Matthew 22. Now, we often focus on the loving God and neighbor part, but sometimes we gloss over the loving ourselves part. To be ministers of reconciliation involves reconciliation between people, for sure, but also within ourselves, asking God to help us see and love ourselves as He sees us and loves us. So to know and love ourselves begins with knowing ourselves loved by God. It's celebrating our uniqueness, and loving our neighbor then comes out of that overflow of knowing ourselves loved by God. So I just want to reiterate, you are made in the image of God, and you're called to be God's image in and for the world. You are a gift, a precious son or daughter of the King, breathed into existence, created by love for love. Now, you are called to refract God in and for the world as you truly are. And what I mean by that is that you're called to let God shine through the lens that is you, your unique beauty and being. God delights in you being the unique person He created you to be. So just a couple more things. Self-awareness as a person loved by God is a key component to living in healthy relationships. Knowing what makes you tick, what makes you fly like an eagle, celebrates or gives glory to God who made you. Now, the security of truly knowing yourself loved by God then allows you to love your neighbor from that place of security, not competition. Truly knowing yourself and loving yourself as God does also allows you to love your neighbor in the same way. It's a celebration of God's love refracted uniquely through that person. So finally, seeing and appreciating and understanding our differences as something to celebrate can often help diffuse conflict in relationships. Celebrating differences allows us to take things less personally when we're confronted with a person who thinks, acts, communicates differently than we do, and it can perhaps help us to be more curious than confrontational. So this morning, we thought we'd have a little bit of fun, take some time to notice and celebrate personality or temperament differences. Like Nate said, this is simply a tool. George Box once said, all models are wrong, but some are useful. So I want to thank these 4 lovely people up on the stage, if we can give them a round of applause. And I'm going to ask the people on our panel a couple of questions that you get to listen in for how they answer them, kind of unique to their color type. So they're wearing the shirt that is kind of their color that they identify with most closely. The same situation from different angles of being and functioning in the world are all valid and valuable. You can listen for what resonates with you. So which color type do you identify with? And if you've done this before in this setting with Pathway, you might find some fresh new insights, because Nate and I have combined the Myers-Briggs, which I'm very familiar with, and the color model, which he is very familiar with, and we've tried to put them together. So in each color, there are 4 Myers-Briggs personality types. So there's definitely nuance within a color. But if you've never done this colored thing before, or any personality thing, just pay attention. Just notice which answers I kind of identify with, and that might help you discover a little bit more about yourself. Okay, first, we're going to put on a slide, and we're going to ask our panelists to look at this slide. They don't know necessarily what's coming, so I'm going to ask you to imagine you are watching a plane flying in the sky. What are you thinking of or wondering about as you look at the plane? We'll start with you, Mish.
I'm a bit worried about the pitch of this plane, so I would be wondering if we should put on our life vest, definitely seatbelts, and making sure we're back at our chairs.
Very good. Yes, production-oriented. Bert.
Yeah, for me, it's how can so many tons of metal be flying through the sky, and did the service maintenance mechanics do everything they needed to? Safety lists were followed, and pilots are awake.
Yes, pilots are awake. That would be good. Yes. Nathaniel.
I was wondering where the plane is going. Like, I was looking at the horizon to see if I could find out, like, are we like in a tropic, or like where are we going? Like, is this vacation? Like, are we going to Europe, or yeah? That's what I was
What's the
thinking.
purpose of this thing? Yeah, thank you. Very good. Noah.
All right, I think I saw Mark Mann here today. What's the velocity and angle of this plane, and what's the speed it's traveling at, and what's like the cost per gallon of this thing? And thinking about the numbers.
So we're all looking at the same picture, but we're all thinking very different things, aren't we? Thank you. There's kind of a logic intelligence for some. There's a tactic. There's a strategy intelligence. There's a diplomacy intelligence. And you'll see some of those things coming through as we keep going. The second picture. Imagine that you are asked to host a party. What are some of the first things that you want to know about this party in order to plan it well? What are some of the first things you'll want to know about this party in order to plan it well? Noah.
How much is it gonna cost? Like, are these dollar store streamers, or like, does this come out of your birthday present, or like, how many people are we inviting, and what's the time? And that's what I'm thinking about.
Yes, strategy.
I'm a bit worried about the theme here. Like, what is this party for? Because we've got yellows and oranges and red, and then black and white polka dots. So I need a theme. This is just not matchy-matchy.
Yes, the production. Yeah. You need to know more about the production. You're a production-oriented person. Absolutely.
Yeah, I need to know who the party's for, how many people are coming. Is it a small, intimate gathering? Is it a big shindig? Like,
absolutely.
I need to know that.
So concrete things for a green person, but also people-oriented.
I was actually also thinking the same thing as Mish, which is interesting. I was thinking, like, what is this color scheme? What's the theme of this party? Like, there's no like actual theme decorations. It's just a bunch of party decorations. So like, I need to know what the theme is before I plan for it.
You want to drive a line through it. Very good. Thank you. Okay, the next one is another ponder question. Which one would you rank the most important to you in relationships? So all four are going to be important to us, perhaps, but which one would you land on if you had to pick one? The first one is, I can count on you in a relationship. Or you give me freedom to do things my way. Or you respect and trust me. Or you take time to listen and see the real me. So here they are again. I can count on you. You give me freedom to do things my way. You respect and trust me. You take time to listen and see the real me. Which one would you pick if you had to, Nathaniel?
I'm kind of torn between you take time to listen and understand me, and the first one, which was
I can count on you.
Yeah, I can count on you. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Is this how I want people to view me, or
which one would you rank as the most important to you in your relationships? Like what you need from someone?
Oh, I can count on you.
I can count on you. Okay.
Mine would be the fourth one.
You take time to listen to the real me. Yep.
This is difficult. I feel like for me, it's probably trust and respect. Like, if you can't respect me, how are we supposed to be in a relationship?
Yep.
But also, like, the respect is great, but if I can't count on you, what does it mean? So, like, I'm kind of in between those. I would say probably, like, trust and respect. That's just like a baseline.
Yeah. And that tends to be that way because greens tend to be very loyal people in a relationship. Blues tend to be fairly playful in their relationships. And reds tend to be very reasonable in their relationships. And yellows tend to be fairly intense mates in their relationships, whatever kind of relationship you're in. It's a tendency, but you can see that there's kind of a variation between the two. But thank you, that's very helpful. What we're going to do next is what I'm calling the rapid fire round. It's a little bit just forcing people to make a choice between two things. to be sort of show some of the nuances between the colors. So this is a question for all four of you. In your opinion, is it better to have your head in the clouds or be in a rut? Is it better to have your head in the clouds or be in a rut?
Easy. You got to be in a rut because it drives growth, personal experience. You build momentum to get up there, and then, yeah.
Absolutely, be in a rut. There you go.
I'm 100% a rut because you got to think about how you can get out of it, what's got to be done to get yourself there.
Very good. So same rut, but for different ways of thinking about it.
Rut's not really the right word. It's like a pattern. It's a way of being. It's very predictable. Like it's better.
So rut feels like negative to you, but it actually is. It feels safer to you because you know which way to go. Right.
I'm definitely going to say head in the clouds. Actually.
Head in the clouds.
Like
I'm a yellow too. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like better ideas come out of that. You
Yes.
can be like, it's less stressful. You can be in your own space when you're kind of in your own head in the clouds. Yeah.
Thank you, Nathaniel. Yeah, exactly. So you hear the difference, right? Like there's ideas. Ideas are like the safe place to be, or there's tell me how to do things. That's a place I'd rather be. It feels safer that way. Okay, so this is a question for green and blues. Does it feel more fun to adapt to a changing environment or fulfill your duty and responsibility?
Duty.
Duty for the green. Does it feel more fun, Mish, to adapt to a changing environment or fulfill your duty and responsibility?
I'm going to say,
You can say whatever you like. There's no right or
I'm
wrong
going to
answer.
say adapt because I know there's a duty, but like,
They're both important, but you're going to land on
I'm gonna
adapt.
land on adapt.
Yes, that's the kind of being able to kind of figure things out as you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely, very different. Thank you. And which is more satisfying? This is red and yellow, so either end here. Which is more satisfying to you, to discuss an issue thoroughly or arrive at an agreement about an issue? Discuss an issue
We're
thoroughly.
getting into it. We got to get the discussion going. Got to go back and forth. The agreement, that's not important.
Yes, right. So let's get into it. Let's discuss the issues. Versus a yellow.
I feel like I would like to discuss the issue, but if they push me too much, I'd rather just agree with them. Like I'd rather just be.
Yes.
I don't have to go too far. in
Right.
that.
So you can see how if these two people are in a conversation together, understanding where the other person comes from helps. And you can adjust yourself to the other person, but you also have to honor who you are. So it's this wonderful dance of honoring yourself and still accommodating another person. Or maybe not taking something personally. Because I would imagine Noah could say something fairly strong. Right? I've got an idea. And if it's too strong, you'll back away. Right? And so when we have to pay attention to these things. Thank you. Very helpful. Okay, green and blue. When you're given a job to do you prefer to find a solution on your own time and in your own way? Or would you rather be given clear guidelines, on how to do the job well?
Yeah, I would definitely want to have clear guidelines.
Clear guidelines.
Yeah.
Yep.
Simple.
Simple, easy.
I want a solution, but I want to be able to get there on my own. So I want to be able to, I'm pick number one.
Okay, so you have a little bit more room to wiggle,
Yeah.
where it feels better for another person, like a green person, just tell me what I need to do. So you can think about that in a work environment. Some people just really want to just tell me what to do, and I'll do it. I will show up for you. I will be there for you. You can count on me. The other person's like, I need a little more space to add my own little flair. Yeah, is that fair? Okay. Red and yellow. Would you rather demonstrate self-control or engage in personal growth?
Personal growth.
Okay.
My answer. Yeah, I feel like it's just like if you want to become that person you want to be, like the personal growth is essential, and it's just part of you just got to be constantly driving yourself through it.
Thank you. What about you, Nathaniel? What would you rather?
I'm actually not sure. I'm kind of torn between the two, but I think I would actually lean more towards self-control.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you. This is for all four of you. Which word do you like the best? Logic, tactic, strategy, or diplomacy? Logic, tactic, strategy, or diplomacy? No right or wrong answer. Just which one do you like better?
I'm going to say tactic.
Tactic.
What was the first
Logic.
one? Yeah, definitely logic.
Logic for you, okay. Logic, tactic, strategy, or diplomacy?
Strategy.
Strategy.
I'm going to go with tactic.
Which way to choose? Okay, tactic. Yep.
Yeah.
How to do something. Thank you. That's interesting. Okay, so now I'm going to ask, we're going to go back to red and yellow, changing these up a little bit. When someone asks you for help, which makes you feel more comfortable, red and yellow? Someone's asking you for help. If they tell you clearly what they need from you, or if they tell you their story so you can figure it out together?
Like for me, I want it to be clear. Like I would say they tell me what they need from me, but as long as this person is self-aware enough that they know what they need for themselves. Like it's not, I don't think I'd want to be like figuring out what they need. I just want it to be laid out, and as long as it like makes sense. Like if I can like see it and it makes sense, it's rational, then that's would be my answer.
Right, so you don't mind doing the work and you're happy to do it for them. You just don't want to have to figure it out too much with them.
Yeah. That's
Right,
not-
okay. What about you, Nathaniel?
I think I would rather them tell me what they're going through so I could understand, like I could put myself in their shoes and kind of understand why they're feeling the way they are and kind of
Yes.
feel it for myself and then respond based on how I would respond.
So two very different ways, right, of approaching a different kind of issue and how we can accommodate each other. This is the thing to think about. What do I identify with and how can I grow in my way of being with people? Thank you. We've got just a couple more. Red and green. Would you rather understand the logic of what someone is saying or figure out how to implement what they are saying? This is red and green.
I'd rather know the logic of what they're saying and what they want.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I'd say I'd probably want to know like the logic and that it makes sense first before we're implementing anything.
Okay, that's interesting. Very good, thank you. Now for blue and yellow, would you rather find a fun and exciting solution to a problem or make sure everyone's okay with the solution? Would you rather find a fun and exciting solution to a problem or make sure everyone is okay with the solution?
I mean, I'm a kidsman director, like fun and excitement, but
Yes.
I think I care about people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the,
We
yes.
can still have fun and make sure everyone's happy. Okay.
Oh, you want both?
Okay,
Okay, we're going with both. What about you, Nathaniel?
I think I'm actually going to agree with Mish. Like, I would love to have fun, but at the end of the day, it's more important to me that people would all be on the same page about what we're doing.
Okay, so what's interesting here is that we figured out a nuance within two different colors. Both of these have an F in their Myers-Briggs personality type, so they make decisions based on their feeling. And so there's an agreement there between the two of them. If we had someone who had a T, which is a thinking pros, cons list, if you know when you make a decision about something, some people make pros, cons lists. That's a T. So you're thinking in a certain logic on how you make a decision. That would probably be Noah, is my guess. But if you make a decision from your feelings, then you're making it from a different space. Both are valid and valuable. They're just very different. Okay, thank you. I think that's the end of our questions. Please give a round of applause for our panelists. Thank you so much. As Nate comes back up, I just want to encourage all of you to take some time to look at the posters in the hallway and have a look and just see where you land, and particularly areas that maybe you're even not sure about. That's a wonderful thing to do as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Tracy Ann. Is that helpful? Yeah, let's give her a round of applause. Thank you so much. So, because I'm irrational, I have to give you some homework, some stuff to think about as you go. I've got 3 questions that I wanted to kind of leave you with, because again, if you go to the next slide, you should have some questions. Yeah, so this week, here are 3 questions, and you can ask if you have a family member, a close friend, spouse, whatever. These are 3 questions you can ask, and the idea of this is to really, truly listen and not try to morph their answer into what you think, but really to truly listen to them. So here's the question. What's more important to you, the destination or the journey? And thinking about my hot chocolate story, I was all about the destination. My wife was about the journey. If I had known that that was her frame, it would have been way less emotional for me in that moment. And so if you can ask and begin to listen to the other person, begin to see how you're different, it's super helpful. Second question, when you face a new challenge, what's your first instinct? right? For some, it's gathering information. For some, it's responding with heart and emotion. And it's going to be different for everyone. So as you ask the question, really listen where those answers are different and see what you can learn about the person you're trying to love. What communicates love and care to you? Because that's an incredible thing. Sometimes you love people the way you want to be loved, not the way they need to be loved. And if there's one thing I wanted to communicate today as we learned more about ourselves and others is exactly what Paul said. We'll throw up the passage and then we'll pray and shut this down. Let no unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building others up according to, say it with me, their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. So if we leave this place with a posture to go, how can I understand myself and others better so I can love and lead them better, we're going to make some great progress as individuals and as a church. Let me pray for us and we'll go. Father God, thank you so much for this morning, for the examples we saw from our volunteers and from Tracy Ann leading us through this. Lord, I pray that you would help us to put handles on these ideas so that we can be better equipped to love one another better. God, thank you that you have first loved us. Thank you that you have walked towards the mess to restore our broken relationship with you. And you send us out to be the kind of people who restore broken relationships, who love and lead others well. So God, help us to do that as we go from this place and bring us back again next week as we continue this series. In Jesus' name, amen.